Hello, good afternoon everybody. Today's webinar is going to be a very interesting one. So if you can remember, normally we choose a topic and then we look at that topic, and normally those topics are related to strategies, indicators and stuff like that. So today's webinar is going to be a very different one. Like, we're going to look at particular pairs, and then we want to find the correct levels where we expect price to go up to on those pairs. It's like we want to find key levels within those levels. That's exactly what we're going to do today. There is nothing much. We only need to get clear levels on the weekly chart, and then we trade based on those weekly levels. So we start off. This is we'll look at like 3 pairs. So as I was saying, we're going to look at like 3 symbols. We'll start off with GBP USD. So this is the very first time I hope anyone is hearing me talk about this indicator here. This is called Fibonacci. So how it works is this: you first of all mark the swing high, and then so when price went up and even reached this level, we actually had it somewhere here. So as price continues to make lower lows, we continue. This is the next lower low. We continue to the next lower low, and then we continue to the next lower low. Then we proceed to the next lower low, and then this is the next lower low. Then we have the last one, which is here. So on this side, if you look at this chart based on the indicator I'm having on my screen, this is Fibonacci. You look at the swing high, and then you also look at the swing low. Then you have to know the numbers in between. Normally, when price moved from a high up to the lowest low, it tends to retrace up to either these levels, this one, 23.6 fib level, 38.2, 50.0, 61.8, and then you have the last one, which is 100% retracement. So as you can see now, the price formed a higher high here, and then it went down and formed a lower low. Then it retraced up, even attempted to go above 38.2 fib level, came down, and then it came back up to around 50% retracement. So if this happens, if you have a swing high and a swing low, then the price retraces up to the highest high, I mean 50% retracement. You find that the price has gone up to 50% retracement. This normally gives you the correct place to look for a sell from. So you will actually be waiting for a sell around this point here. If you didn't know this was a level, this retracement itself is enough to tell you that this is a sell. So first of all, we could have not seen a sell here around 23.6. Then there is no sell there, but we have a sell around this point. So as price proceeds down, we also proceed with this. This is the next lowest low. This is the next lowest low. The next lowest low, the next lowest low, which is this one. So when price is retracing upward after this lowest low, when price is now pulling back up, expect it to go up to either 23.6, 38.2, 50.0, or 61.8. So if you are looking at this chart naturally, you could have seen that this was the correct place to sell from. So this is the lowest lows for me. Now this is the lowest low, and if I'm to draw levels where I expect this upward to go up to, I'll basically mark it like this. I'll have this level here. This is the first one. This is 1.37557, and then I'll also mark this as a zone, so that this is I'm using this line as the gauge, 23.6% fib level. This is the gauge. Then the other line I'm drawing based on price action. So we have a zone here. This is a very good level here. So I'm going to mark this like this, then I color it, which means we expect price to retrace up to around 23.6. So if this does not happen, that instead of price continuing upwards, it actually goes up to above 38.2, then above 23.6, then we'll wait for a break above 1.42030. That means we'll be waiting to sell it around this point here, 38.2. this one. So basically, these are the places we expect price to retrace up to. After forming the lowest low, we've got the swing low. We now expect price to retrace back. We expect it to go up to this level here. Either it should come back up to this level, or it should get to this level, and if it breaks above, the maximum it should go up to is 50.0% retracement, fib level. This is like a 50% retracement. This is from this point to this point is 50%. From the first one to this point, this is like a quarter of 50. Then the next one is the remaining quarter, and this is the last one, which is now makes it 50% retracement. So if price can come back up to the 50% retracement, if it can retrace back up to this level here, then that will be the correct ultimate place to sell from. As it is now, we are still into a sell correct, but then we are waiting for a sell around the levels which I've mentioned. This one, this one, this one, and then the last one should be here. If price goes above this level, then we expect 100% retracement, which means we've changed the trend and we're now heading to the upper side. So as it is now, we are actually looking for a buy. Expect price to move upwards. Let it go up to this level here. Let it go up to this level. Then you should be able to pick a sell from that point. Expect the sell to push us downwards. If it goes above, then wait for it here. If it breaks above again, then expect it to go even higher. So somebody may argue like this, that this is the highest high, correct? And this is the lowest low. How do we look at this one? Well, do we consider this as the highest high? Yes, this can also be considered as the highest, as we may have this one here. May have this, yeah. Then take this as the lowest low, so that when price retraces back, this will be the 23.6% retracement, 38.2% retracement, then we have 50.0% retracement. So if you draw it based on this, from this high and this low, then this should be the correct place to sell from. This is the only correct place we are waiting to sell from. That is, if you draw it based on only this high, the latest high, this one, and the latest low, then this should give us the correct place to sell from. I hope this makes much sense. That if you now switch your charts and you change high to be this one, from this point to this point, which means we now wait for price to retrace only up to in between 50.0, 38.2. So if price comes back to somewhere in between this range here, we will be able to pick a sell up to this point here. This is the correct place, somewhere here. Does this make sense? So if I was to draw a trend line here, there's also something here which looks interesting. This is a very, very good trend line, this one. And what it simply means is the price may come back to it before we see a move to the lower side. We had the first resistance here. This is a very good resistance. And then we also have this one here as a resistance. This is the resistance. And then we expect that when price comes back, if price is to come back to this level there, then that should give us the correct place to actually look for a sell from. So this is basically how this pair looks from the monthly. We are waiting for a very good sell ultimately. If price can come back to the levels which I've mentioned, that is, if it can get back to somewhere in between this range here, then that will be the correct ideal place to actually look for a sell from. If price can retrace back up to this level here, then that will give us the correct place to pick a sell from up to this level 1.15014. Listen, look at this, how perfect this chart looks. Looks very, very clean. It's a very good chart, and with this I'll now have to mark this next level, and then I'm going to ignore this. The highest high so far is the highest high, 100% retracement. If price can come back to this level, then that will give us 100% retracement, and that is highly unlikely, being that the price is below a very significant level, this one here. So we'll move to weekly, the same chart, so that we see exactly what we expect to be happening on the weekly. We've seen from the monthly that we expect a sell, but only when the price is here. So what about the weekly? This is how the weekly looks. So if I was to do a weekly, assuming I'm using the same indicator which I was using before, this one, I'll take this as the highest high, then I take this as the lowest low. And what this simply means is we are almost approaching the 50% retracement, the sell place. I'll draw a line here. We expect price to basically come back up to around 50.0% retracement. Then this should give us the correct place to sell from. So if I was to draw this based on the one which I had on the monthly, I'll basically pull it up like that. Then I'll also draw this like this, which means if price is to go up, then this should give us the correct place to buy from, this one, to sell from. So far, based on this highest high and this lowest low, the price has gone beyond 23.6%. We now expect it to proceed up to 38.2%. So on the weekly, it doesn't look very much clearer like on the monthly. So I'm going to add one indicator here, just one indicator to confirm certain things here. Just a second. Look at this. This indicator shows us the resistance and support areas. We have this one here as a resistance. We also have this as a resistance. This is verified and tested ones, which means if price can come back to this level here, that will give us the correct place to sell from. Or if price can come down up to this point, that will give us a very good level. We also have another tested resistance here. Then we also have another one here, tested. We have one untested resistance. So if I was to delete this indicator after drawing those lines, we basically expect price to go up to this level, 1.32595. If price can come back up to this level, because these levels have been tested previously, this resistance here was tested before, this one else has been tested before, and this one too has been tested before. This one also has been tested. So if price comes back to these levels, then those are the correct places we actually are waiting to trade from. So I'm not going to look at it. I'm not going to scale down to a lesser time frame. Instead, we'll move forward. We'll move forward to our next chart, which is EURUSD. EURUSD. I'll load it afresh here. Also, this one I'll look at it from the monthly, intensely from the monthly. Then we'll now look at it in relation to what we've seen on the monthly. So just look at this like this. When this was happening, when price was moving upwards, it actually started from this point here, went as high as this point here. So this became the swing low and this became the swing high. So when price was retracing, we expected it to go up to 50% retracement. So look at this. It went up, yes, but after reaching that high, it retraced down up to 50% retracement. Then it bounced off perfectly to the upper side, which means this was a very good place to buy from. Anytime you have a swing high and a swing low, draw your levels, drag the Fibonacci level, this one, from the swing low up to the swing high. Then when price goes down, expect it to go only up to 50% retracement. If it goes below that, that means we've changed direction. So when price went below this level here, like this, you only need to have done something like this. We now draw it from the top. This is the first time. This is the lowest low we've seen so far. So it goes down, it retraces up, goes above 61.8%, then goes down, and then it gives us even another lower low at this point here. So when price hit this level here, we expected it to retrace back up to maybe 50% before we continue downwards. That did not happen. Instead, it went only up to 38.2, then it came back down. There's another lower low here. So when price reached here, anytime, as I've mentioned before, anytime there's a swing high and a swing low, then the price retraces up to 38.2 instantly. That is, when price has formed a low, it goes instantly up to 38.2, or it goes up to 23.6, or up to 50.0. Those levels give us the correct place to actually sell from. So when we are looking at this level here, without drawing my levels based on price action, I can basically just know that when price is somewhere around this point here, this should be a sell. If it moves up, that should be a sell. If it continues up to 50, then that should be a sell. So without knowing price action very well, you can draw your line there. You can also draw your line here. You can also draw your line there. Then you can also draw your line there. Then I'm going to delete this indicator so that we are able to see, is it true that the Fibonacci actually shows us levels where we expect to trade from. So I'll start with the one at the bottom, this line here. Is it significant based on price action itself? Look at this. We had a support here. Then there's a break. It continued up. It came back down. It went up and even broke above. Then the next level, which is now 38.2% fib level, this one, this is actually significant. It's significant because if I pick this and then I mark this as a zone, it naturally becomes significant. This one. We have a support, we have a support, we have a support. There's a break. There's a retracement, which means if I was trading purely based on price action, I could have seen this as a sell. Remember, around the same place, the indicator was showing as a sell. So if you pick a sell there, you're not only supported by price action, but you also have the indicator giving you the same direction. So that gives us the ideal place to look for a sell from. So I'll draw a line there. I'll ignore this 50% because based on price action, there's nothing significant. There is no significant level here based on price action, but we have a very good level here, this one. Yeah. So also the lower one doesn't look very good, but at the bottom, which is the lowest low, we have a very good support. So technically, these are the levels I'm looking for. I'm looking for a retracement up to this level or a move down up to this support. And then we also have this one here, this trend line. A very good one running all the way from the top using these levels as resistance. This is the first time we had this resistance here. And then we also had this resistance, and then we also have this, a very good resistance. Then we also have this as a resistance. So what we want price to do now, we want it, if possible, it should come back up to the same trend line. Then we will look for a sell from that point, expecting that sell to push price up to this level. So if you are looking at this chart properly, you actually are supposed to look for a sell on this one. Ultimately, we expect price to proceed downwards, but then it must first of all retrace up to the levels which I've mentioned. So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask me now. Look at this. We have this one here, the first resistance. The first resistance. Then we have the next one, a resistance. We have the next one, a resistance. And then we have the next one, a resistance. and then we expect this to be a resistance in the future. So basically, if you are trading this chart, these are the levels to look for. Expect price to come either to these levels here, let it retrace back up to this point, you look for a sell, or if this does not happen, still expect a sell up to the line at the bottom, 1.05160, this one here. So we'll move forward, we'll move to our next chart, EURGBP. EURGBP, we'll look at it from the monthly. So the reason I'm focusing so much on the monthly is because we are beginning the month, so we actually expect, I need to know exactly what to expect in the coming month. On this chart here, based on price action, we draw a level there. I'm going to use an indicator first of all, sorry. So we'll use this. Sorry, we'll use this one. Yeah. Just look at how this one is. We have an untested weak support here, and then we have a verified resistance around the same place where I wanted to sell from. This one here, and then we also have this level here, and then we also have verified support here. We also have a verified support around this level here. So this is purely based on the monthly chart. If you are looking at the monthly charts, then these are the levels based on the indicator which I've drawn here. These are the levels that actually make sense. So on the monthly, actually, I don't find this rather good. Like, it doesn't look as good as, maybe we should scale down to a lesser time now so that we're able to see exactly where we expect. We should scale down to one weekly. Still, I don't see anything. In the weekly, I'm seeing this the level. We have a support here, and then this resistance should be up at the top. I'll draw this as a zone, yeah. And then we also have this one here. We also have a line at the bottom, which is here. So if you are looking at this chart, if you are focusing so much on this chart now, these are the levels where we want price to get to. We have a support at the bottom, this one here. This is a very good support, and then we have a level here. This should act as a resistance this week. If price can come back to it, then that will give us the correct place to sell from. And then we also have a very good resistance at the top, this one here. So basically, if price comes back to this level here, 0.87564, but does not close above it, that is a very good place to sell from. That should give us the correct place to sell from. So because I'm not seeing, like, if I was to draw based on this indicator, Fibonacci, this one, Fib levels, this is what we have. We've not seen any serious retracement up to 50% retracement, after 50% Fib level, which means price must retrace back up to this level. It needs to try and come back to this level here. And that brings us, I'll now have to shift this line. If I draw them based on the indicator, we'll have that. Then we also have that. And I'll draw this like this, which means we expect a move like this, a retracement back to 23.6% retracement Fib level. Then we should pick a sell up to 38.2%. If price breaks below that Fib level, then we expect it to proceed up to 50.0%. That will give us like a 50% retracement, a very good place to look for a buy from. So as I've mentioned, it is always good if you have price moving up, something like this. If price is forming a higher high like this, from this point, this becomes the swing low, this becomes the swing high. Wait for a retracement up to either 50 or 38.2 or 23.6, then you pick a buy. But if it continues up, this also moves. This one, it moves. When it continues up, it moves also, which means when price retraced back and hit that 8.2%, that gave us the correct place to pick for a buy, pick a buy from. So if you are looking at this chart, basically we are waiting for a sell around this level here. This is the support which has been broken. If price comes back to it, it will give us the correct place to sell from. On the daily, so on the daily, I'm actually going to draw this. Just a second. On the daily, I want to draw it like this. I'll draw fib level from this high up to the latest lowest low, this one. Okay. What this means is the price needs to come back up to around 23.6 or 38.2 or 50.0%. So if you are looking at this chart now, you better be waiting for, expect maybe a lower low. Expect price to make a low, and if it does that, then we'll move with the line. So as it is now, we are waiting, we're expecting maybe a retracement up to this point, or up to this point, or up to that point. That is based on the fib levels. But then if we are using price action purely, then we want price to come back up to that point, or it should get back to this level here. So this is a very good level. The upper one is a very good one. If price comes back to it, then that may be the correct, actually the best place to look for a sell from. Where I'm saying you're supposed to sell from the line which I've drawn, the thin line, the first line, which is not as on this one here. It looks good if price comes back to it, but even better if price can come back to the line at the top, this one. That will give us the ideal place to actually look for a sell from. So we are going to move to our last symbol, gold. And one thing, gold moved upwards for some time. Actually, the price keeps on moving to the upper side. We've seen price rise up to levels we didn't expect before. So on gold, these are the levels to look for. The first level, without the indicator or anything, we have this resistance here. This is a very good long-term resistance. If you can look at this chart from a longer time frame, you'll find that this was a very good resistance from the past. We had a resistance, a resistance, a resistance, a resistance, and then for the first time price has actually successfully closed above. So this was since 2015 the price has not been able to close above this level. For the first time it has gone beyond it. This is a possible continuation sign, and if price can retrace back up to this level, if price can come back down up to this zone here, then that will give us the correct place to buy from. So as it is now on the weekly, if I was to draw, we have also this one, so don't forget we have this, we have something like this here. So this is just a very good support. This is a very good support there. We mark it like this as support, and then you also have this as a support. Then we have this as a resistance. So if price can make the mistake of coming back to the levels which I've drawn, then these are going to be the correct place to actually buy it from. And the main reason I'm drawing my levels like this, because I'm that person who don't like trading short term. I really like trades that if I pick a buy today, it actually goes that way for maybe 2 months, 6 months. That's why I'm focusing so much on the weekly and only on the places where if you pick a trade, it tends to hold for some times. We have this here, it's a resistance, a sell. We also have this one here as a resistance and a sell place. Then for the first time we actually saw price broke above. So this means we are still somehow to the upper side. Gold has made a very significant move to the upper side. We've gone above a level which we were not able to break above since 2015. So now that the price is above that level, expect it to proceed upwards up to this resistance here. This is a very good resistance, this one here. we expect a move up to 1890.17. So the first thing it has to do, it has to go beyond this level before we see a move upwards. Gold must first of all go above this level. It must first of all break above this level before we can continue upwards. So something like this, a retracement, then a continuation upwards, and then a retracement here, then we continue to the upper side, this one. So if you pick a buy, if you're waiting to buy it, you can buy it there, or you may wait and buy it if it goes above this level. I hope that makes sense. That it looks actually very good. If you look at it from like this, it looks really good. So we expect a retracement, then price should continue upwards, go beyond 1564.79, then we are going to buy it again from that point up to around this point, 1883.05, this level here. So thank you guys, thank you everybody. That should bring us to the end of this webinar. I hope you understood a lot. This is exactly what I want to talk about today. I wanted us to look at levels where we expect price to go up to on the pairs which I've mentioned. I've looked at GBP USD. It still looks good for me. Weekly, this is how it looks. Then we have Euro USD where we've looked at a sell, and then we've also looked at gold where we're waiting for maybe a retracement, then we pick a buy or a break above this level so that we can continue buying it even higher. So that is that. If you have any questions, or if you need me to look at any other pairs other than those which I've looked at, kindly feel free to post under the chat option on the right hand side of your screen. And see you again next Wednesday. Bye.
We will give away $15,000 among our new clients, and 15 ounces of gold will be raffled off among our active clients. Take part in the celebratory